You've definitely seen him. He's one of the most recognizable gods on the entire planet, the one millions pray to before starting, well, pretty much anything new. But the story of how the elephant-headed god Ganesha actually came to be, well, that's one of the most fascinating mysteries in all of mythology.
To over 1 billion people, he's known as Ganesha, or Ganapati, or Vinayaka, the Lord of Beginnings, and most famously, the remover of obstacles. You see, he's the one you honor before you open a business, start a new journey, or even just write a book. His image is everywhere. It's a constant, comforting presence in homes and temples, from Mumbai all the way to Manhattan.
Okay, but here's the crazy part. For a deity who is so universally loved and recognized, his origins are surprisingly murky. Seriously. The story of how Ganesha came to be is this incredible historical puzzle, and we have to piece it together from ancient texts, archaeology, and of course mythology. So let's get into it and start untangling this amazing story.
To really get where Ganesha came from, we first have to look at where he wasn't. And that's because for a very, very long time, in the absolute earliest Hindu scriptures, he's just not there. He's conspicuously absent.
I mean, just look at this timeline. We're talking about a huge span of history here. In the Rig Veda, one of the oldest religious texts in the world, the word Ganapati does pop up, but scholars are pretty clear it's referring to other gods. Then, for centuries, the only figures that sound even remotely similar are these troublesome spirits called the Vinayakas. It's not until the 4th and 5th centuries of the Common Era that recognizable images of the elephant-headed Ganesha we know today just suddenly start appearing. That's a massive historical gap.
And it's not just me saying this. The scholar A.K. Narayan put it perfectly. What is inscrutable is the somewhat dramatic appearance of Ganesha on the historical scene. It's like he doesn't evolve slowly. He just arrives, almost fully formed. So the question is, where did he come from?
Well, the leading theory actually connects him back to those troublesome spirits I mentioned, the Vinayakas. Now just think about this incredible transformation for a second. The Vinayakas were a group of demons who created obstacles. They caused problems. You only prayed to them to try and keep them away. But over time, it seems they were all consolidated into a single powerful deity who went through a complete 180. The creator of obstacles became the remover of obstacles. His entire job description was flipped on its head.
So it's really in the myths of the Puranas, this amazing period of epic storytelling, that Ganesha's identity is finally locked in. This was a time when Hinduism was shifting, moving from more abstract gods to these really personal, relatable deities who had these rich, dramatic backstories.
And this brings us to the most famous story of them all. Parvati, wanting some privacy to bathe, molds a boy from turmeric paste, breathes life into him, and tells him, "Guard the door, let no one in." Simple enough, right? Well, when her husband, the great god Shiva, returns home, the boy does his duty and blocks his path. Shiva, not recognizing his own son, is furious at this defiance and, in a flash of anger, he cuts off the boy's head. When Parvati finds out, she is absolutely overcome with grief and rage, threatening to destroy the entire universe. To calm her down, Shiva promises to bring the boy back. He sends his attendants out with an order: bring back the head of the first living creature you find facing north. And what do they find? An elephant! Shiva attaches the head, brings the boy back to life, and to honor him, makes him Ganapati, the leader of all his divine armies.
So Ganesha's pretty dramatic origin story gives him this truly unique form. And here's the cool part. Every single piece of that form is packed with deep, symbolic meaning.
Okay, let's start with the most obvious feature. That elephant head isn't just a plot point from his birth story. It represents all the qualities of an elephant: immense wisdom, a powerful intellect, the ability to tell truth from illusion. And his large ears? They symbolize his willingness to listen with deep compassion to the prayers of every single one of his followers.
You'll almost always see him with one tusk broken. That's why he has the name Ekadanta, which means one tusk. It represents sacrifice, the idea that to gain true knowledge, you sometimes have to give things up. And the most famous story behind it? He supposedly broke it off himself to use as a pen so he could write down the entire epic poem, the Mahabharata, without any interruption. Now that's dedication.
And what about his large belly, which gives him the name Lambodara? It's not about being greedy. It's cosmic. It symbolizes his amazing capacity to peacefully digest all of life's experiences, the good and the bad. It signifies that the entire universe, all of existence, past, present, and future, is contained right there inside him.
All right, and what's the deal with his ride? A tiny mouse. It seems a little strange, but this symbolism here is just fascinating. A mouse can represent desire. It's restless, it's always wanting more, and it's really hard to control. By riding it, Ganesha shows he has complete mastery over desire. And on another level, think about it. A mouse can get into any crack or crevice, symbolizing Ganesha's all-pervasive nature. He can go anywhere.
So once Ganesha's identity as this wise, obstacle-removing son of Shiva was really established, his popularity just exploded. He became this amazing deity who transcended all the usual divisions within Hinduism, and pretty soon he would travel far, far beyond the borders of India.
A huge moment for him came in the 9th century. The philosopher Adi Shankara was working to unify different branches of Hinduism, and he formally included Ganesha as one of the 5 primary deities in what's called the Smarta tradition. This was a really big deal. It basically solidified his status as a universal pan-Hindu god. He became someone who could be worshipped by followers of any major deity without any conflict at all.
After that, his reach became absolutely incredible. I mean, within Hinduism, he's central to followers of Shiva, of course. He even has his own sect, the Ganapatiyas, who see him as the supreme being. But his appeal crossed religious lines too. He was adopted into Buddhism as the deity Vinayaka, and even into Jainism, where he's associated with wealth and prosperity.
And his journey did not stop there. As merchants and traders traveled the ancient world, they took their culture and their gods right along with them. We find early statues of Ganesha in Afghanistan and China. His worship spread like wildfire through Southeast Asia, where he took on unique forms in places like Thailand and Indonesia. He even made it all the way to Japan, where he became part of the Buddhist pantheon as a god called Kangitin. He truly became a global god.
So after this whole journey, we're left with a pretty powerful question, right? Ganesha's transformation from a cluster of troublesome, obscure spirits in ancient texts to a universally worshipped remover of obstacles is just a remarkable story. It really shows us that gods and faith itself aren't static. They grow, they merge, and they adapt to meet the needs of people across time and across cultures.
The story of Ganesha is just one of so many incredible tales from this period of history. If you enjoyed this little journey, you should definitely explore our full playlist, Ancient India, The Stories Behind the Hindu Gods. And for more deep dives like this, go ahead and subscribe to Notebook Summaries. Thanks for watching.